Hello and welcome to PM Personality Profile. My name is Nana Nsakwao IV, Chief of the very little Republic of Akwemwe-Dumasa. And all along, I knew I had a weird mixture as far as jobs are concerned. Being a chief, being a media person. And I always say as a chief, I'm quite shielded. Probably need to talk to through 3 protocols before you speak to me. Then I'm a media man. Completely unprotected, you can talk to me directly. And so I thought, that was a weird combination, but I managed it quite well, and I'm sure you would attest to that. Until I met a bishop who was a prosecutor, and I thought, my goodness, I thought I'd seen it all. A bishop and a prosecutor. I thought the bishop was supposed to be forgiving everybody. Here he was prosecuting them. And so I delved further into this man's life. And it will amaze you that everyone has a story. So I asked him, Bishop, if you don't mind, I'll bring my crew to your house to talk to you a bit more so you share this story. Because the whole idea about this show is people to share their stories and their testimonies, one which, we have favor from, have faith in, one that gives us the hope to fight on, the resilience to keep going, knowing that, God is still with us no matter what. Believe in your dreams and pursue your goals. And that's how come I'm here. So today we're going to have a double whammy. A story about a boy growing up in a privileged world and a woman growing up in an underprivileged world. And yet still faith and destiny brought them together. This is a double whammy. You don't want to go away. Stay tuned. When I come back, I am speaking to Bishop William Wood and his wife, Bishop Mercy Wood. Don't go. Well, thank you very much for staying, and this is our favorite part. Now, I had a call that, there was a philanthropist who was worried about the numerous children within the Republic of Dumasa vicinity and Dumasa Ajina vicinity who were sleeping rough. In fact, some of them were sleeping in his church. So he decided, well, why don't I build them a place, a proper place, so that these children could sleep? So I got the call that, look, there's this chap who wants to build a hostel, blah-de-blah-de-blah. I said, okay, fine, I'll come and meet. And one thing led to the other, hence I am here. So first of all, Bishop, I want to say thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
And probably faith, this is actually a story of faith. So maybe faith brought us together.
Yes.
It's a story of faith. So maybe faith brought us together. But, I always thought I had the weirdest combination as a job. That, traditional ruler, there's the linkways, there's the elders, and then you have to go through all that before you talk to me. And then as soon as I stop being a chief and then I come into the media, boom, no protection. Everybody can talk to you. In fact, they can tell you the peace of mind.
Yes, yes.
But when I met you, I thought yours was a combination and a half.
Yes.
A full-blown bishop with many ministries and a full-blown prosecutor.
That's right.
I'll get to it, but let me go all the way back. You're born in the UK?
Yes, born in the UK, yes.
But predominantly grew up in Ghana.
That's right.
How did that work out growing up?
Born in the UK through parents who were in the UK doing a course of study.
Okay.
My father was in the airline industry, so he was training to be a pilot and trainer of pilots.
Okay.
My mom was in Ghana, in the UK, also training to be a nurse.
Okay.
And so they completed their education, and then once they were done, they got married, and then they had my brother and I in the UK. And so we're there for a little bit, and then came down to Ghana for our primary and secondary education.
Wow.
Because my mom was a nurse, so having been transferred back to Ghana or come back home, she was then transferred to the north of Ghana also, where I was in boarding school for secondary from 1 right up to
Did you go straight up to the north, or you settled in Accra?
Oh, we're in Ghana for Accra for the Radiant Way Preparatory School.
Oh, okay.
And then to the north for secondary school.
Oh, okay.
And then after that, that's when I went back to London, having been married, and then went back to Ghana, London.
You did all secondary school in the north?
All secondary school in the north, from Form 1 right up to 6th form in Wa.
Well, you're partly a northerner then.
Well, I would say I'm not. I remember each time they ask me, where do you come from? I say, I'm from the north.
Is it that?
I don't know. Obviously, what they didn't realize was that whenever I said I was from the north, I was really from the north, which means that where I come from is even higher than the north, way back in the United Kingdom.
Yeah.
That's what happened. And the basic education in terms of preparatory and secondary was in Ghana.
Okay.
But those were the days where Ghana Education Service was really, very, very strong emphasis on education. And we learned a great deal. And that acted as a base upon which other educational things that I went through developed back in Ghana, in the UK.
You went back to do university in the UK?
Back to UK for university, yes.
So then I just want to find out, the Radiant Way Northern Secondary Foundation,
Yes.
Did it help structure you?
I'll say it did help a great deal, because in those days, education was a very serious thing here in Ghana. I'm sure those of us who are old enough looking back will say that education in Ghana then is not quite what it is now. I don't quite understand even the systems now, the ages of the children and the classes that they're in. Someone can go to university at the age of, very young age. In those days, it wasn't quite like that. So we had a solid foundation in terms of preparatory. And the boarding school also that I went to in WA Secondary School gave me an opportunity to be able to have the grounding in the self-management, also the grounding in being able to get on with people. A lot of things that we learned there as a foundation helped me when I went back to the UK to further my education. And today we look back with gladness and say Ghana benefited us, helped us greatly in that foundation. And obviously back in the UK we picked it up from there with the university also.
At which point did you think, look, I need to do law?
Law was always something on the forefront of my mind when I was in the secondary school, because all the subjects I did were things like government, English literature, and those sort of arts subjects which are law related. And so whilst in secondary school, I always had the back of my mind that I think law is what I would want to do. But it's when I got to the United Kingdom that was aggravated, because I realized that there were certain legal men and legal women that were not helping the people. I noticed that some lawyers were charging people exorbitant prices for things that really they shouldn't be charging them for. So I realized that if I become a lawyer, I'll be able to at least give people free legal advice as and when they require. Some people also, what they require is just letters. A letter to support this, a letter to support that. Some also just need basic guidance in terms of legal matters. But I realized that lawyers were charging people really high prices for things that they could have given them the advice for free. And so once I qualified, I was fortunate enough for the government to ask that I work for them, because I was working in the administrative sector of law back in the UK. And so once I qualified, the government said, come and work for us as a Crown prosecutor to start with. And then later on promotion, I became a senior Crown prosecutor. And then later on, I also became a solicitor advocate, which enables me to practice law in higher courts, which other solicitors are unable to do.
Let me take you back. At which point did you find Christ?
I found Christ in 1982 while I was in WA Secondary School, Scriptural Union.
So before law?
You say?
That's well before law.
That is well before law.
Okay.
Far way before law. 82, a Baptist minister came to our Scriptural Union fellowship. And that's when, even though I come from a Christian background, mother Christian, father, and all that, going to church, Anglican church and all that.
More lip service Christian.
I'll put it that way, because that's basically what it is. You just follow mother because mother is going. But on that occasion, the man preached a message on salvation, that it has to be a personal decision. If you want to be a Christian, it's not because your mother is or your father is. It's because you personally want to receive Jesus as Lord and Savior of your life. And so that's when I gave my life to Christ in 82, early part of 82. And it's in that same year that I met my wife also. Wow. And it's amazing that the circumstances under which we met was quite miraculous and quite a setup. You could see that this is a God thing. And we didn't waste time. We promised that we're going to get married, and we did get married within a very short space of time. And the rest is history.
You're meeting your wife.
Yes.
It's a defining moment
Yes.
in the Wood World missions.
Very, very significant because she was coming from Akosombo and her mother died at the age of 5, when she was 5. And the whole children to the father were split up and sent in different directions. And she ended up staying with her uncle, who was a very strict disciplinarian.
She will tell her story.
Yes.
She'll
tell her story, yes. So,
she's tell her story. But I'm surprised how, you decided in a short time that, this is it.
yes.
I'm going to take the decision.
In fact, the first time I met her, she had come for an interview with my mom for a nursing job to be trained as a midwife. And my mom says, these are my sons, introducing us to her. And even though my brother was closest to her in terms of where he was standing, my hand overreached my brother and shook her. And she tells me that when I shook her hand, a certain temperature went down. And so my first question to her was, where did he?
Is this,
and the way she scratched her head made me realize that she hasn't eaten. So I went home, prepared a meal.
How many years ago is this?
This is since 82, 36 years.
36 years ago.
It's 36 years ago story I'm telling you now.
Wow.
Went home, prepared a meal, gave it to one of my young men and said, take it to her, with a message saying she should wait for me. I'm coming so that we'll eat together. And this is day number 1.
And to the glory of God, you're still eating together.
To the glory of God, as you witnessed this morning, we've been eating together. So it's quite a significant moment.
Yeah.
And it turns out that we're both people who are caring in nature and people who love to help people and help others. And because of what she went through and what I also am, we combine the two together, and that's how the ministry part of things also came in, and that's why today we are what we are.
Jumping forward to, you found God, you found your wife.
Yes.
You've passed through law, which obviously your wife was your backbone through school.
Yes.
Don't you feel guilty if there's a file in front of you and I stole this glass and, I have to go in for 3 months or 2 months? I mean, doesn't your bishop instinct kick in to say, look, Jesus, let me forgive this man, or no? You get into jail.
Well, not every case ends up in jail, let's put it that way.
Okay.
And the prosecutor is there, or the senior crown prosecutor is there to review the evidence in the case. And even if there is evidence supporting the fact that the person committed the crime, we then move on to stage text number 2, which is it in the public interest to prosecute this case? So someone may have gone to shop and stolen sweets, and if the person is, say, 86-year-old, is it really in the public interest to prosecute a 68 or 86-year-old woman or man for stealing sweets? Can't we caution him? So it's the prosecutor's job to assess the whole evidence and then also look at the public interests. So most of the time, we don't prosecute every case that comes before us. Police would like us to, because they refer the cases to us. But sometimes we use our discretion, and in applying the law, we caution people. Sometimes we could give someone a conditional discharge, which means go, don't do this again.
Go and sin no more.
Go sin no more type of. So the scriptures all come in. And apart from that also, I believe that as a bishop, we also need to help in maintaining law and order in every environment we're in. After all, the Bible says we'll rule and reign with him. Yeah. So as Nana, I'm sure you also hear cases, past judgments, etc. So we're already starting to rule and reign, you and I. We're ruling and reigning already in practice for the other place. So really, in essence, we help promote law, justice, peace, in every community that we're in, especially in societies that we belong to. So not every case results in prosecution. Sometimes we exercise our discretion in applying the law to make sure that people who need to go to jail, obviously go to jail. People who need to get bail, get bail. People who need to remain in custody because they're a threat to society, remain in custody. But generally, we're there to balance the law and to apply the law. So I see my role not as a prosecutor putting people in prison, but as a prosecutor helping the communities that we live in to maintain law and order. I'm sure a thief who goes into prison knows that that's his rightful place.
That did wrong.
Especially a thief who graduates to robbery, burglary, murder, rapes, etc. They know when they go into prison that, look, tough one. I should be here and I'm here. I'll serve my time. So the combination looks a little odd, but that combination, I believe, serves a purpose in the communities that we live in. You know, and I did it for many, many, many years. And after 25 years, the Lord said to me in 2013, are you waiting to become old and wrinkly, where you have no strength left in you before you come and serve me full time? And so,
Bishop, I'm going there, but before I go
Yes.
there, let me put you on the spot a little bit.
Yes.
Is there no space in the Bible that says, judge not your brother or something like that? And therefore, if I've, strayed, you're not supposed to judge me.
Yes.
I don't know.
Well, let's put it this way. Even though the Bible says judge not, the Bible doesn't say that when someone commits an offense and they want to come and answer their case in court. That's why we hear both sides. We don't judge one person and say, oh, this person said you stole a goat, so you are guilty, go to prison. That's why there's a court sitting where the accused gets a chance, and it's innocent until proven guilty. So the accused gets a chance to come to court. They bring their barrister or their lawyer. They come and present their case. The prosecution also does the same. And at the end of the day, it's not I who passes judgment. There is a judge sitting there, and sometimes a jury, their own peers, who say, having heard all the evidence, we've come to a conclusion that we're sure that you committed the offense.
What birthed PCC, Power
Center Church.
Center Church? What
In,
birthed?
in the year 2000, in fact, in 1994, the Lord led us, anytime we're coming into Ghana, He said, take some provisions, foodstuff, clothes, and things for your brothers and sisters back in Africa, not only in Ghana. And so we did that for 6 years out of our own funds. And then in 2000, the Lord said to us that, why don't you register this charitable deeds as a registered charity in London, where you are based, so that when you go to Africa, you can solicit funds from other people to continue that which you have begun to do. So in the year 2000, we started doing the Wood World Missions charitable thing after we fully registered it in Ghana and also in the UK. And then in 2003, that's when the Lord said, doing all these charitable deeds, you need a spiritual fire behind it, a prayer support, financial support, church support. So that whenever you are away from London, there's a fire of prayer going on beside you and around you. So in 2003, that's when the Power Center Church became the sister ministry to Woodwell Missions, which is one unit, backing us to be able to do that which we do.
Okay, I'm interested in the Mitcham setup,
Yes.
where you have a 3-story,
Yes.
the auditorium downstairs, the charitable law firm,
Yes.
which I find amazing,
Yes.
Upstairs, and then obviously
Refreshments area.
refreshment area and children offices up there, because I know you're very much into technical vocation for children.
Yes.
So how does your law firm work? So I just walk in and say, listen, I have a problem, help me.
That Woodwell Missions Advisory Service works exactly that way, where we are a team of lawyers who have our own employments, but volunteer our services during the day, some of them, during the evening, some of them, that anyone in the community can walk in with a legal problem. It's like an advisory service, Woodwell Missions Advisory Service. And then they come in and say, I've got this employment problem, or I've got this legal problem, or I've got this immigration problem. Can you help me? And so then I get in touch with the lawyer who specifically has the expertise in that particular area of law. And then they come in and then sit with them for as long as it takes to advise them, counsel them. And then if the case needs to be referred further, like a lawyer has to take up the case, then we refer them to a law firm that we know is genuine. Because there are lots of crooked law firms also who charge exorbitantly for very little things they do for people. And so to help the people, we give them the basic advice. If letters need to be written for them, we do all that. And all that is done for free.
And interestingly, the council refers people to you.
Council refer people to us, not only for legal matters, but also refer people to us for charitable matters. They say if you want to do charity, or if you want someone to help you with charitable deeds, and you want to even start a charity, go to the Woodworld people. And they always refer them to us. So because of that, we have a good name in the council of Merton. And most of the councillors know us for what we do and refer people to us. So it's all about what do you have to offer the community and the generation that God has placed you in. That's the central line. The logo of our ministry is helping to meet the needs of humanity worldwide. And you notice I didn't say meeting the needs of humanity worldwide. I said helping to meet the needs of humanity worldwide. So if our ministry is doing our little bit, and your ministry is doing its little bit, and other ministries are doing it, then as a collective church of God, we then meet the needs of people wherever we are. Even when Jesus was on this earth, he wasn't everywhere at the same time.
No.
He was in one particular place at one time. And why is it that we have churches all over the place? In terms of not only power center churches, but other churches. So that every church in its own unique way, with the giftings and callings placed on the vision holders, will make an impact wherever it is that they are. And that is what church is supposed to be. Today, when I'm in this country and I watch television, it saddens me, Nana, I should say. Some of the things that I see, I begin to wonder that is this really what the baton that we took from the apostles, is this where the church has got to? You know, not everything is money, but things are created in a manner in which people are meant to believe that everything is money. When you have money, you have everything. Or when you have a cars, you have everything. But that's not quite what it is. God created us with giftings and callings so that we can make an impact in our generation while we live. You know, the grave is made up of a lot of unfulfilled visions and unfulfilled dreams. And our bit as people of God is to make sure people know what their vision is. What is your vision? What is your dream? Why did God bring you onto this earth? Have you fulfilled that vision and that dream?
On the subject of vision, is Wood World Missions and the Power Center Church not growing too fast?
Let's put it this way. We have a lot of enthusiastic people we work with. And one thing we've noticed is that because they tap into our vision and our call in terms of helping people, the first help you can give to anyone who becomes born again is to have a church so that they can come and receive teachings, that they may grow and abide. And then the next thing also is that once people come into church environment and they get to know what their call is, they need to then be sent out as disciples to help people in their communities. And that's where the mission part of things come in. And we don't do this in isolation. We link up with people like Reverend Steve Mensah. Only last week, we were with him in Tamale and his team, feeding and giving out many thousands of provisions. And many bishops joined forces with him. So we don't sort of isolate ourselves as a church and say, it's my ministry, I'm doing this on my own. We encourage ministries coming together and doing collective things. I believe when Reverend Steve went and did his day of helps for the disabled people in the Ghana, was the big stadium, next to the stadium, that place over there, Black Star Square, the government encouraged him that he should take it to all the regions. And so this time last week, we were in Tamale doing that together with crusades and things that we distribute. So really, there is no time should come where we say churches are growing too fast, especially when they're doing what they were called to do. And so once we are helping our generation, I'm sure heavens are laughing and smiling with us. And so I'm very glad that at least our ministry is moving at the rate at which it's moving, with the help and with the support of all our key players on the ground who have linked with the vision.
I mean, where you are now is probably somebody's destination. I mean, what's the bigger vision for PCC and Wood World Missions?
The bigger picture is to continue to do the same as we're doing whenever we see a need. 3 weeks ago, we happened to be in Ghana here, helping our Agena branch. We expanded their premises and we're helping them to make the place a little posher. And we noticed that there were lots of students who were told sleeping in the church premises in the evenings, and others sleeping in other premises. Wow. And so we made inquiries and we found out that there was a secondary school that's unable to house all its occupants who are supposed to be housed. And so we asked the question that, is there any premises that we can purchase or land that we can buy, that we can build hostels, so that at least these children can have a place where they'll be secure and the environment will be a little homely. And we're referred to your republic. You call it a little republic. It's quite a large republic, I must say, Dumasa. And so we were just driving up the road to see, and we happened to meet one of your lieutenants who said, "Oh, the chief is selling this land," and so we asked that the inquiries be made so that we could meet you yesterday in the morning, so that we can do what we need to do. And thank God that we met you, went through all the logistics, they're all in aid of helping whenever there is a need. So our ministry is such that when we see that there is a need, and we're bringing borehole also onto that property, because it's the borehole that will provide water, bring electricity, and all sorts of facilities. So we don't only just come and plant something there, we bring other facilities that will be beneficiary to benefit the people. So we thank you for receiving us warmly. And not many people will do that when others are coming into their territory. But in a nutshell, the Woodwell Missions is always on the lookout for where we can assist and where we can help. And wherever there is a need and we can help, we come and give our little help. And we're very grateful to all our partners and friends for all their support also in helping us to do the work.
Bishop William Wood, thank you very much. And now we're going to hear the story of Bishop Mercy Wood. And you see how faith and destiny's work, an amazing work. And who told you God doesn't exist? Stay tuned, we're coming back. Well, thank you very much for staying. And yes, we're talking to Bishop William Wood. Now we're going to fill in all the gaps. This is what, this is the story that made me come here. That faith still works, and that, God is still in the miracle business. So now stay tuned as we talk to Bishop Mercy Wood. Auntie Mercy, thank you so much. But you did not grow up, as a pilot's son in London and all that. You were minding your business in Atimpoku, right?
Yes, local girl.
And mom died at
tender age. I think I was about 5 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So what happened then?
Very tender age. And then I stay with, they separated all of us because we're all little. And so they separated, so I went to stay with one of my uncle who happens to be also a sub-chief. And stayed there. I went through a bit.
Very disciplinarian, I'm told.
He was a very disciplined then. And also, I used to be athletics to, all of them, and the way we used to get up early morning, and, here I was, a queen and a princess. And then later on, come to this phase where I have to, a little girl, I have to go to farming, I have to do, a lot of things which I wasn't used to. And so it wasn't easy at first, but then I pick it up. And we get up early morning, maybe for 4 o'clock or 4:30, go and jog. Can you imagine? Yes.
Well, you were a sports girl?
Yes.
Okay.
And then come back, go and fetch water from the sea, from the river.
But the interesting thing is, I hear you used to do...
Yes, I know how to box. Yes, because we were trained in the house, Tondaye,
yes.
the former boxer.
Tondaye.
Yeah.
So this is Tondaye's father?
Yeah, Tondaye's father.
Okay.
Yeah. So we all have to, if somebody, attack you, you have to
learn
fight.
How to defend yourself.
So we all have to do all this training, and then go and run, come back, go and fetch water, come back, come and sweep before you go to school. Wow. But make sure you are not late.
Wow.
Because if you are late, he will beat you first. And then your teacher have to beat you. If the teacher doesn't, it means when you come home, you get another whipping. Yeah. So, this thing went back. And the matter of fact, I would say, even though it could be child abuse, if you want to take it that way, but that situation has helped me to be who I am today. Because I'm able to go to deep village with the gospel, a woman, and I'm not afraid because of probably
the hardship
training that I went.
But you found Christ quite early.
Yes, I did. Because of that, even though my mom was, I think I was told that she was apostolic, Christ apostolic those days and things like that. But I went to where I stayed to go to Presby, so I became Presbyterian, from school, everything, until I rededicate my life to Christ, again. And then everything is about God. If I need to pay school fees, it's about God. I will pray and I'll find money on the floor.
Wow.
Or I will sell, things. And so that gave me the faith in God more strong. And I was able to face any challenges that came my way. And then, God being God, one day I was sad, very, very sad. And I was just crying and praying, asking God that why did my mother die? Because when I got to know that my mother was a very wealthy woman who was supporting charities and things like that, I started asking questions. And in my question, God said to me that, one day you will stand up and cook, but it doesn't mean anything then. You will not sit down and cook. It doesn't mean anything to me that time. And then I made a pledge to God that one day, when He lifts me up to another level, I want to come back and help children who were in my situation. That was a pledge I made, at the age of 15.
It's quite young.
Yeah, very young. And then, God being God, that vow came to pass. So 1994, 1986, I went to London. 87, I went back to London. And then when I came, I saw a few things. And then so I spoke to my husband and I said, honey, I want us to help, do charity work.
Before we go to London, because you're so spiritual, you've had, series of dreams telling you that, listen, this is what's going to happen.
That's it. I had, and I still have that gift. It's a gift I was born with. We call it prophetic now. Even though I don't have a title on my forehead as a prophetess, I still see things. Wow. Sometimes I'll see things as I'm talking to you. Then, that's a gift I have. And so those days, if God wants to tell me something, He showed me in a dream. And so He showed me a dream that when a certain man I met wanted to introduce me to, they were looking for nurses, and the guy saw me and he said, I see you and you look like somebody who will be a nurse because you have a caring nature. And I said, but you don't know me. He says, that's what he saw. So he went and told find out from a friend that they're looking for nurses. And so he wants me to go and apply for it. And I thought, I don't know anybody in that Accra place for me to go. But that night, I had a series of dreams. And so in one of the dreams, God showed me two men. One was taller than the other one. And what He did was He showed me in the finger. One is taller than the other. And He said one of them is my husband. And when He comes, I will know.
Wow.
Yeah. And so I had that dream, and I thought, So I went back to sleep. And then the third time, I went and knocked my father's door, and I said, Daddy, this is the dream I'll keep happen. Then he said, as for you, your dream always come true. So why don't you go and try? So I met the man, and we came to Accra, and exactly what I saw in the dream happened.
But what amazes me is, on your way to Accra, there's a signboard about Thomas Wood School or something. And that's just...
You love that story, yes.
That's just...
I saw a sign on the roadside, and the sign was saying Thomas Wood Preparatory School. And for some reason, the name just got stuck me. And I said, one day, if I happen to have a child, he will go to that school. And then I didn't know that I was going to meet that Thomas Wood.
Look at that.
It's so amazing. And so when I went to the estate to look for the place, I can see that I know the place, but I haven't been there. And so when I got there and I saw my mother-in-law, well, now my mother-in-law, and then I introduced myself.
Because she was a nurse then?
She was the matron.
Matron,
yeah,
okay.
Yeah. He and the brother owned the place.
Okay.
Yeah, so when I went in, and then she was just about to interview me, asking me questions. I haven't even applied for it. She was just asking me, where are you coming from? And I mentioned, she said, oh, what's your name? And I mentioned, oh, she says, that's a lovely name. And then all of a sudden, 2 guys entered. And when they entered, one was standing there, one was standing there. So she says, Mercy, these are my sons. So which one do I supposed to greet?
The one next to you.
But I didn't see where the hand of my husband, Bishop Wood, just crossed it. Like Genesis chapter 47. His son just crossed.
Perez.
His son just crossed. And I greeted him some funny way. It sounded funny. But, you know, I felt something in me.
Wow. Immediately.
I felt a spiritual connection. You know, but then I was very, I'm so a little bit shy. But I was very, very shy. And so then that was it.
So what did he?
He just turned to me and said, have you eaten? Where did he? And I said, hey, you know, I stay in a house where I see people, men bashing, you know, taking advantage and all this thing. And here is a very nice, tall, slim. He was very slim, very slim, handsome man, very tall. Asking me, have you eaten? And you know, as a lady, some funny thought came to my mind. But that was not what he meant. And so she says, oh, okay, wait, I'm coming. And he took his mother's car, went home, went and cooked, and sent it to one of the guys who happens to be in my house, living in our house now, that go and take this food to Mama and tell her to wait for me. So he did. I waited and he came. And when we were eating, I couldn't eat the meat because I was shy. And that was 36 years ago.
But you know something? Another funny, or not funny, another amazing part of the story is you get to the station and it's all booked.
Yes.
Somebody doesn't turn up.
Yes. I got to the station. You know, those days when petrol was very scarce, so you have to book ahead. And so, and didn't have those transport now. You can just go to Accra over there. You need the transport, Ghana government transport. So, and I didn't book because I refused to go until God gave me direction to go. And so when we went to the station, there was a lot of people queued there. But the conductor, I went there and I said, I'm going to Accra with this one, but this person has already booked their ticket. And she says, listen, somebody came and booked the ticket, but the person is talking, we have to go, so you take the seat.
Wow.
And so I knew that it was God's ways.
Wow.
Yeah, so I went in and we went there. And then I went there looking for a job, but I went there having a husband.
Hey, may your job find you a husband.
Exactly.
Find you something bigger.
And you know, it's amazing. I think my mother-in-law, saw the way I was, even the way I was composing, the way I was talking to her. She didn't actually interview me. I didn't feel like an application.
Just start
like that. She says, you know, just start the training and then go and come back and then just come and start, just like that. And I think she found out that the son was, you know, have some eye for me. So rather, she would say that, oh, Mercy, my son has gone to the fitter mechanic. Can you take this one to him? So she was actually
Donkey promoter.
serious one. And I have her for 32 years before she went to the Lord.
That's beautiful. So she saw the blossom of the union.
Everything A to Z. Yeah,
wow,
she was a mother I didn't have.
Wow.
Yeah, so she actually replaced my mother. And I love her dearly because every birthday, if I don't get anything, I'll get my 10 pounds.
You see that? Now, when I was talking to Bishop, you know, he was talking about Woodworld Missions in Mitcham. But I know Woodworld Missions is in Malawi, it's in Ghana. Which other country?
We've been to Tanzania, we've been to Congo, which is Goma. We've been to Uganda, which we are building a youth center in Uganda. We are a lot in Malawi. And
but I mean, why Malawi? I mean,
Malawi, I was preaching actually in Tanzania, 2001. And I had an email from a certain pastor, and he was asking for Macedonian help. And then she says, so please come to Malawi. That was when there was a severe hunger. You know, you will see it on the television everywhere. And so I called my husband and I said, this is what is happening. And she said, oh, go and have a look. So I went, and indeed, I saw it. And so I came back to London, and I mentioned, and we tried to raise some funds from the church, as well as our own personal fund. And I went back. And then I wanted to take only 10 children, but I ended up taking 40 children.
Wow.
And so we built a center and did a borehole. Because for a child to get water, they have to travel about 3 kilometers to go and get, water from a stream. Sometimes it goes dry. So we made a borehole, and God so been good. The water was so nice. And I'm telling you, the borehole is still helping over 3,000 people in the community now. Yeah. Wow. And so from there, then we went into the deep villages. So we are more into the deep villages where you can't drive to go.
See, all the farm you were going in the beginning, that was the training.
As the training, that's you are right. You were right, because some places I have to sit on bicycles.
Bishop is that about Bishop can go to the bush.
No, he doesn't go. No.
Bishop is a London boy.
He's a London boy.
He can't go into the internet.
Yeah. So he allowed me to serve God in the capacity where I'm able to. So normally time in Malawi, for instance, I went there for 7 years. Before he went, yeah, before, unfortunately, my near-death experience, yes. So some places where I have to stop halfway and then we walk, or in bicycle, and I sit in bicycle. Yes, two bicycles we carrying some of our luggages, and then I will sit on one, and then we'll go to the village, and came back. So it's quite interesting.
Wow, wow. I mean, I asked Bishop this, and I'm asking you too. Are you not spreading too fast and too wide?
Yeah, before we were actually everywhere. So one day we sat down and we were praying. God said, "Okay, now limit your travel, because we've been to Ethiopia. We're supporting Ethiopia everywhere, and Southern Sudan and everywhere." So we decided, okay, now after the accident, and then we decided, okay, let's limit too much far and then concentrate on maybe 3 countries, which is in Uganda and Malawi and Ghana. We also have a support in Nigeria, because we've got Nigerians in our church as well.
But did you feel fulfilled in terms that at age 15 you promised God that, listen, you put me in the next pedestal, I'll come back and help?
Oh, I'm so happy, but I'm not totally fulfilled until I accomplish the second thing is the sleeping thing that we saw in Agena. We built a place where it's small, but now we have expanded. And then when I went there and I saw that some of the children are spread. I mean, and you had your share around the area, and so when we went there, we were looking for a space where we can keep them there, so that they don't mess themselves up. And then that was when we were introduced to a land near your area.
That's where my faith comes in.
That's where your faith comes in.
That's where my faith comes in.
Yeah, and then so now we got it. So what we are now doing is that we just pray that some people will come and support us to be able to fulfill that dream. Then I'll be happy. Then I'll be happy, because I would like to, education is very important to us, very, very crucial. And because I didn't have the opportunity to upgrade myself when I was in Ghana. I didn't have the opportunity, because my uncle was swamped with so many people in the house and his own children. So he couldn't, that was what I said. I prayed, and then I found money on the street.
Wow.
And so the dream that I had, and I thank God, because I could not have done it if God didn't bring Bishop Wood in my way. And he also have the compassion. Because if he hasn't got compassion, it would have been difficult for me to.
I mean, it's a silly question, but since you're so for you, forgive me, so let me ask. You don't think it's coincidence that you met
I think
William at the time?
Yeah, I think it's, God divine.
God divine.
I believe it's God divine because he needed, he knows that I needed. Of course, there was a lot of young men. Some of them were very rich who were interested in me as well. But God warned me that this is the person that I should, spend my life with. We have a covenant together. And indeed, he's my twin brother. We do everything. We even share one tea bag. So I think it's God ordained. God ordained thing. That's why we work together, we do everything together, and still 36 years, we are still in love. Which is very, very uncommon nowadays. So and it helped all of us to be able to do the work together. So when we talk in spiritual terms, when I see something that needed attention, immediately God will speak to him as well. So by the time I will say, I'm going to say that, let's take this challenge, he will say it. So that's what we've been going through all these years together.
The Power Center Church, born out of the passion to be giving, basically. Born out of the passion to be giving. You keeping it, or you thinking of growing it a bit better?
Oh, it's growing. I mean, in Ghana here, we used to have just a couple in Akosomo, but now we are about 23 and growing. And in Accra, we used to have one. But now we have in Accra, it's growing so much. And the thing is, our aim is to help people. Somebody may have the gift, somebody may have the talent, but nobody to help them. Nobody. That's why Power Center comes. When God speaks to somebody to start Power Center Church, we don't ask them for bring this, bring that, bring that, bring that. So far as you can maintain yourself, you can help. If there is a little slight help that we can help, then we help it. Just maintain. We don't say bring the money to London or bring the money into port for us to do. No. Wow. So that's why we train people. We have a Bible school that also train people. And now we are doing correspondence courses to help people and to be able to achieve what God has called them to do.
I mean, are you more church or more philanthropy? I don't know if it's the right question, but are you more church or are you more Good World Mission?
It's twin.
No, I know it's twin, but I mean, like, I think the Wood World Mission is bigger than the Power Center Church.
Yeah, because
so it's like a medium church backing a big philanthropic mission.
That is true. Even though Power Center Church is well known though, but we don't make too much fuss about it. And that's where God said to us that we need a fire under the mission. Because without it, there's a lot of challenges. There's a lot of, people actually let us down all the time. You pick somebody up, and then you train the person, you build the person up, thinking you are doing, then they betray you seriously. And we get hurt all the time, but we don't allow it to hold us back. We just rub it off, and then we take another challenge. And maybe that's why God has been protecting us through that. So we aim to have more Power Center Church here in Ghana, because where Power Center Church is, there is a Woodward Mission support, so that we can be able to help quite a lot of people. And I said to God before he calls me, because there's a lot to be done. And one of them is to finish the Edumasa Center.
Students hostel.
Student center, yes.
Student center.
For them, student center, so that they can have a place called refuge, where they can come in. There will be a bit of entertainment also for them. For them, most of our centers, we normally try to do a swimming pool, but we don't know. It depends. If
swimming pool,
yes, if God bless us for that, we will do one for them. Because we got one in Ghana, we got the schools, always, all of them have a swimming pool.
Okay.
Kofodia have it, Akosomo have it.
Okay.
Yeah, so who knows? Maybe God will bless us and it will be the first in a Dumasa.
Tennis court. If we don't do a pool, we can do a tennis court.
Well, you have the land, so I'm sure you give us a piece of land for that.
Tennis court. Recreational tennis court.
Yeah, that will not be a problem at all. Yeah.
Well, I think it's a beautiful story, and I think it's endearing, and I think it's what is being lost in many churches today. I was speaking to Bishop, and I could see his pain as says he watches TV, and it's all about give me, rather than give out. What the mission seems to, what Jesus was doing was just walking and giving what he could do.
Two folds: the healing, the message, and doing the what they call it, holistic affairs. Holistic affair is what we join with Reverend Mensa to do in the Christ of the Rural. We do ourselves.
The tamale was big.
The tamale was big.
Yeah, and we'll show the pictures on the screen. So
yes,
the tamale was
it's
big.
We started with him. We've been a friend for over 20 years, which our first encounter was 2000 when we went with him to Qatar. That was a small scale, and now it's big. And in our Woodward Mission, Power Center Church, we do some as well, but not in that big scale. As I'm speaking, my other's room is full of staffs. So
good.
That's why God saved us from that Malawi. I was dead, actually died, physically dead.
Malawi story. I wanted to hear about it. Was touching my heart. That's why I keep running away from it. I think it was a very touching story.
My face was all torn into pieces, but this is mine. God miraculously healed my face. And God miraculously healed my pelvis. I was supposed to be in a wheelchair or even walking. I was supposed to be walking with stick. But because of the charity, the Bible says in Psalm 41 verses 1 to 3, it says, blessed is the one who considers the poor. Yeah. When you are sick, the Lord will heal you. When you are even in your bed, he will lift you up. When they curse you, it will not work. People have cursed me all the time, but I'm still standing.
Well, folks, we had a double whammy today. A tale of faith and destinies, bringing two people from two different worlds together to form a complete powerhouse. And that's what we do every Friday until I come to you. Stay tuned. But I always give you this number before I go, and that's 024-366-2001. 024-366-2001, and that's Tanti's Fashions. They give me my shirts for the show. Give them a call and get yourself a nice shirt. Until I come to you with a different personality, have a fabulous weekend. Thank you for watching.